Wonder Woman, and it lasts like 5 minutes. She saves these kids from terrorists. Then there's one with the Flash.
Leonard Nimoy, one of my favorite people, has a quote: "Life is like a garden. Perfect moments can be had but not preserved, except in memory. Live long and prosper." Now, if you're one of those people that's got it all together, a fully realized, self-actuated, strong, assertive man, and you truly are above, the petty wants and needs of the average human, you're one of those guys who just got it. You have great self-esteem, you don't care what other people think, and you're just truly your own man, then this probably won't resonate with you. But if you're like a lot of men, like me, and you suffer from clinical depression, anxiety, or you have addiction, then this might be something that resonates with you. What we find often is that we'll get a goal and we'll relentlessly pursue that goal at the expense of everything. And then once we get that goal, we just feel hollow and empty inside. And for the addict that's in recovery, this has to do a lot with instant gratification. And part of the reason why we got to the place that we are to begin with. This can be commonly called post-achievement depression. Well, what is that? Well, say you've been working towards a big goal for a while now. It could have been years or just a few weeks. All your motivation and energy up to this point has been spent propelling you towards this specific goal. And I'm going to use my recent 405 bench as an example. I've been relentlessly pursuing it for months. It's just been an obsession. I've been just killing myself trying to get this. Well, then the day finally arrives and all that built-up energy reaches a crescendo. You've done it. Your adrenaline is pumping, praise is flowing your way, and probably attention follows. Or maybe you don't get any attention. Maybe nothing. No, maybe you don't get any praise. What happens when all that energy and excitement suddenly stops? Well, effectively, you have a post-achievement crash. The crash doesn't always affect people the same way, but for some, it results in post-achievement depression and any of the following. You could have a lack of motivation, the inability to start new projects or move on to the next big thing. You might feel suddenly tired, you need to sleep, rest, or deep sadness that you feel you have no explanation for. You should be happy, but you can't put your finger on it. Why are you so sad? Well, maybe this will help you overcome that. Recognizing what's going on is the first step that you've done it. Next is to take a closer look at how you're feeling. At this point, you already feel pretty shoddy, but knowing the reason why will help you overcome your post-achievement depression quicker. I want you to answer a couple questions. Are you feeling down because you don't know what to do next? You're lost. You just can't figure out what should my next goal be? My next video. And maybe I'll work on that deadlift, but I'm already feeling overtrained. You feel as though your next big thing didn't get the attention it deserved. You didn't get any comments. You didn't get any subscribers. You keep, obsessively checking to see who congratulated you, or maybe you're looking for the troll that's talking crap so you can engage with them. Oh, you realize although you've achieved your big thing, you just don't want to do it anymore. I'll often have that when I get a PR. The other month ago, I finally hit 600 on a deadlift. And I've been just going after 600 hard. It was everything. I was going to get 600 or die trying. And then when I got 600, I posted the video, and I got a lot of accolades for it. It was great. It didn't happen on the platform, so it doesn't count as a record. But then I noticed, I started watching videos, and it just seemed like all of a sudden that 600 is just not that big a deal. It seems like a pedestrian lift. Everybody's doing 600. It's just not YouTube doesn't give a crap. How many, you could put 600 deadlift in a search and probably come up with 400 videos. When it comes to having post-achievement depression, most of the time that feeling appears because there's nothing that comes after. You've achieved your thing and that's it. It's done. Well, my advice in this situation is to plan for the next thing before you finish the first one. So in my case, I've already got a goal set in mind. Like hitting 400 on a bench was huge. Hitting 410 was just incredible. But that is a sub-goal. That is not my main goal. I am planning on competing in Worlds next year. So a 405 bench is just the beginning. I need to get 425 to break the national record for my weight class. So I'm not even where I need to be yet. So it helps to have goals already set in place for when you hit that big milestone. If you're past this point, moving on to the next thing is going to be difficult, but it's so worth it. Gathering momentum when you have none is one of the hardest things as humans have to do, but it's also one of the most rewarding. Start small. What one small thing can you do today to push yourself in the direction of your next thing? Just think of one thing and do it now. The trick to gathering your momentum back again is to take baby steps, so go for it. Like obviously you're not going to bench again. You just did that yesterday. You're cashed. And trying to load that bar up and outdo yourself is just not going to happen for a while. So, and in my case, I'm an older lifter, so I got to really be careful. I can't just get after it. I gotta get back to my periodization, which means that I have to work in lower rep ranges, which are not going to be that impressive. Then something also can happen sometimes. Like when I was competing, when I was on the platform, I won a medal, and I placed with the open lifters, and I felt, you feel as though the big thing, you don't deserve it. You did something and you got an award for something that you didn't deserve. And that can happen. Instead of just accepting what, the gifts that you get or the accolades, you do this thing where you feel like, oh, it's no big deal. Like it wasn't as good as whatever, no, it's okay. It's okay to revel in it. It's okay to be selfish and take a moment and say, you know what, I worked really hard on this. And maybe it isn't a big deal to a lot of other people, but it's a big deal to me. And it's okay to, it's okay to reward yourself, be easy on yourself, congratulate yourself. A lot of times post-achievement depression can come because you just simply been working too hard. You've been just going at it and going at it and going at it, and you finally get it, and it's exhausting. Take a break. The likelihood is if you have post-achievement depression, you're going to be tired anyway. So look at the work you did leading up to this point. Did you overwork? Are you physically and mentally drained? Know your limits. So if this is a result from overworking, like in my sake, for the sake of your own mental health and physical health, take some time off to recharge. Now, if we're training, we have goals. You can't just stop training. But maybe it's good to sideline that specific lift for a while and prioritize something else. With powerlifting, we often do this. There's 3 lifts. It is very, very, very rare in our sport to find somebody who is equally good at all 3 lifts. Ed Cohn comes to mind. And I'm not in no way comparing myself to Eddie Cohn, but I'm like him in that my leverages are pretty spread out, meaning that I'm okay at all 3 lifts. I'm not exemplary, but I'm decent. A lot of times, though, guys are either going to be very strong with push exercises and weak in pull exercises, or they're going to be super huge deadlifters, but they can't bench for crap, or they're going to be squat monsters. You'll see this. Guys that squat 100 pounds more than they deadlift. So, for me, I'm lucky. I have the genetics to be more well-rounded, but if you're not that type of lifter, if you're not the type of lifter that has equal leverages in all 3 lifts, then what you need to do, in my opinion, is you have to prioritize a single lift and put the others in maintenance mode. So if your goal is to get a 400-pound bench, you might have to relax trying to PR on deadlifting and squats for a while. And you do what's called maintenance lifting. You just do enough that you don't lose strength in those lifts. Well, now that you've got your bench where it wants to be, you're going to put bench into maintenance mode, and you're going to go hard after your other weak spots, because you want to make sure that you stay balanced. Essentially, the whole point of this is, I want you guys to think about it. I don't want you to make your decisions in haste. Your post-achievement depression might have drained you to the point where doing anything seems like a drag. So give yourself serious time to think about where you want to be and where you're going and what you've achieved. If you've come to the same conclusion a few weeks from now, then, maybe there's something to that. Maybe you're doing something that you don't really want to do for other reasons than what you're doing them for. I know a lot of guys that lift because they're good at it, and they've been good at it, and everybody gives them praise, and they think that's what they should be doing. And so they just keep grinding and grinding and grinding, and they find that they don't even like the sport. They're just doing it for the wrong reasons. That happens quite a bit. The sport of powerlifting is a very selfish sport. In order to get to the point where we're competing, on the platform, especially if you're at a high level, it's all consuming. It takes priority over your kids, over work, over your family life, everything. And what I have found is that it is very, very important to have a support system, especially if you're an addict like me or you suffer from clinical depression. And you need to recognize that you are not an island. We have a team. In my case, it's my wife. She's been super supportive of me. And when I'm getting ready for a meet, she really takes over and she allows me to do that. But I have to back up and recognize that she can't do everything by herself, and I do have to work full time, and I do have kids, and I do have priorities, so I have to periodize this sport as well. When I'm done with a meet, I often will take a couple month break from training altogether. I mean, I still train, but it's not a priority, and I back things up and I spend more time with the kids. And essentially what I'm saying is that it's very important for us to have a support system. For a lot of us, I've noticed that our entire support system is just the comment section on YouTube, and that's not a good thing. We have people in our lives that depend on us, and it's important to be there for them. And for the addict, this kind of thing can be for some people a road to relapse. And knowing that I'm one drink away from everything being just destroyed, knowing that I have to really, really be in tune with my mental health, it's a big deal. It's easy. We're really good at forgetting. We're really good at forgetting, especially when we've been sober for a while. We think we've got everything going on and we got everything together. It's just, I try to remember that last relapse, and knowing that I'm one drink away from everything being destroyed, it's important to recognize the warning signs of whenever something like this could be affecting me mentally. I mean, it's a big deal. That's why I like to talk about this stuff. Now, there's always a chance that this video just doesn't apply to you, and that's awesome if it doesn't. If you're one of those people where you don't find that you have an issue with this sort of thing, that's great. But if you are, I hope that this resonated with some of you. All I'm doing is trying to share things that help me as an addict stay sober, that help me as a father stay, focused on what's truly important. And I also want men to understand that it's okay to be selfish sometimes. It's okay to have goals and dreams. I understand that my kids and my wife and my family life are the most important things in my life, but that doesn't mean I have to give up on my goals and dreams completely. And part of that is just maintaining a healthy mental state and being aware of the warning signs for when things might be derailing a little bit. If you found any of this information or my thoughts to be helpful, throw me a subscription, throw me a like. Let me know. If you want me to stop and shut up, I'll do that too. But if you want me to keep making these videos, let me know.